behind. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Well, we know one thing. When we get down here to Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol Motor Speedway is on our radar and on our list, there is only one thing we can expect, and that is nothing but the unexpected and the mayhem that is about to ensue and follow. Ladies and gentlemen, from live here in Bristol, Tennessee, up in the tower, up skyline, I am the Crusader, Christian Shriver, representing for tonight's PTM Racing TV, as the action of the Green Mountain Girls Fast and Fun Truck Series is about to commence here at Bristol, Tennessee. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the show. As always, as we get set for tonight's action, we will take a look starting up on our lineup here tonight. Here's the way we got our drivers lined up in position here. We have a pretty good qualifying results and a pretty solid lineup here of drivers looking to make their mainstay and make their moves right, make their runs hard. Presented by Green Mountain Grills here. This is how they started them up on the pole. The Zanny fan Craig Janzik will be the #1 qualifier. His outside Nathan Meyer in that #1. Row 2 sees the Mullen Man Robert Lawrence. The 5 is outside. Josh Ball will pilot the #6. Row 3 sees Tyler Meeks in the 35 is outside, but Ryan Lorenzo in the 73. Row 4 sees Steven Pless in the 69 is outside. That'll be Jason Taylor in the 15. Row 5 sees Brock Whitehead in the 82 is outside. Kevin Kersher, the 91. Row 6 sees John Thacker, the attacker. Colton Latsmatter in the 56 is outside. The 8, a Sheldon Pearson. Row 7, that's going to be Steve Clegg in the 22 is outside. The man, Dan the Man, Starner in the 14. Row 8 sees the man Beast, William Mann Jr. in the 29 is outside. That's the 90, Richard Fornshell. Row 9, Jacob Givens in the 20 is outside, piloting the 88, Garth Snyder. Row 10, Daniel Haviland in the 32 is outside, the Diamondback, Jonathan Diamond, the 39. Row 11 sees Adam Scrum in the 95 is outside, that'll be Ross Stuffle, Boar Kilgore in the 2. Row 12 will be Charles Whitehead in the 51 is outside, Dakota Wilson in the 52, in the number, yeah, 52, yes. Row number 13 is going to be James the Marauder Harris, and the 4 is outside. The Wild Child himself, Eli Child, in the 9. Row 14, Triple Trey came to play. Whitehead, the 33 is outside. George Young, the 48. Final starter, Kevin Ward, in the 112. Race fans, y'all want some action? We're about to get it. Short track racing, baby. It's about to get crazy up in these parts of town. Get ready, because it's time to go racing. Here and now on Pizza TV. We piling him off the start here, out of the gate. Nathan Meyer, the number 1, will be a race leader here. Piloting him down around corner number 4 here. Stephen Plus will be piling down 7th spot here as Kevin Crusher tries to muscle his way around the track. The number 8 is Sheldon Pearson going up high time on the outside with Beam and Sons Machine trying to get a runoff on all of them. Meanwhile, the 90 Richard Forrestell and the 14 Dana Man Starner are going to have a little tussle here. Kind of moving from the outhouse a little bit here, trying to hang in with the White House. Looks like 28 Jack Givens gets a little pump tap there from the 88 Garth Snyder. Snyder driving a hard line off. Got a bit aggressive and ended up taking the 20. Givens able to refire though. And Givens, you know, I raced him a little bit earlier on this week actually, and I'll tell you one thing. He seemed like he was kind of getting a feel for the tracks and the cars that he was working on. I actually had to deal with him in the Riley Challenge Series. You may have actually took notice of that in the Oval Series, actually from iRacing. Thanks, thank you again to iRacing, by the way, for sharing that post up of our broadcast as well as these drivers on that track. It was certainly a treat to hear our voice on here, our broadcast going down that night. But nevertheless, here, obviously, this is not the Rally Challenge. This is the Truck Series, and with the caution flying out here, you can only know one thing's for sure. Something bad has gone down here. For the record, also, Eli the Wild Childs will be serving up race control here. That is why you saw his name in the booth, but he is not out racing today. We'll take a look at the replay here. Looks like the Thacker Cone Lesmar, John Thacker, got a piece of his own medicine here. Yeah, as you see, the 56 just get way too loose off the corner end. Spins it around and sends it to the shadow realm on the back straightaway. He'll have some work to do here and some really time to make up and some ground to cover here on this track. We'll have, but nevertheless, there is still plenty of time to do that. And really, it's just plenty of ways to get it done in the first place. So we'll take it down now and talk with our drivers here and have a listen in here with the field. We'll start off from the guys up front, but someone in the back. Oval Sim Performances, number 69, Stephen Plus joins me in now. And Steven, I told you earlier that when you brought that lemonade stand out on the track, you best bring me a little bit of vodka for it. And right now, I think you're feeling a little bit of that vodka because you're really muscling it through the field like you are driving like you're drunk.
Yeah, we're trying to get a little forward motion going here. Got on the back of 15 right here under the caution, so hopefully that doesn't hurt me too bad. But truck feels pretty good overall.
Sure.
Hope we can get that little breakaway again we just had.
Now, you said there's a little damage on the 69. Now, I have to ask you, with the damage there on these trucks, how bad does that affect for a short track like this? Because I would think the aerodynamics shouldn't be too much of a factor now, would it?
Due to the increased speeds of the high banking, the aerodynamics plays more of a factor than you would anticipate. It does play a role. How much, I do not know.
Well, we do appreciate your time here, Steven. We'll see what happens here down on the track for you and your crew.
All right, thank you, buddy.
69, Stephen Pless here trying to figure some stuff out here, get things kind of dialed up on the track zone. We'll take a down now talk here with one of our other guys out on the field. This is going to be Stephen Clegg joining me in here from Shake and Bake Racing League here tonight. Here he is now, ladies and gentlemen, the number 22, the Wonder Bread Machine joins me in here now. And Clegg, I know this season really has not been your absolute best or your favorite. Nonetheless, you're still out here trying to perform, trying to do something here with this truck, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right on the cutoff of the playoffs, and I'd like to have a little bit more of a cushion, but we're still in it, so that's all that matters.
For sure there. Now, with how big of a race this is, how much more do you feel like that makes drivers behind you and above you kind of work even harder to get around this track, even try to make some speed and control here?
For me, it's just keeping the nose clean. These things are so sensitive. I don't want to be hitting anybody and having to use those fast repairs. So the cleaner, the better right now. Just kind of let everything work out.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, do appreciate your time here, Clegg. We'll let you get settled back down, strap them in quick, and get ready to fire them back off here on the restart.
All right. Thank you, man.
Strap your seatbelts in, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get back to racing here on Pizza Race TV. Off a corner 2 of the back straightaway now. The Zanny fam, Janzik, and his teammate Meyer will have some work to do here. Jeffrey Lee and Bell saying, let's get the dub, plus William Mann, Papa Beast for that matter, will be saying, get her done, Batsman number 29. I raced with him earlier as well when I had taken on Givens, and he was certainly something as well that day. Eli the Man coming on board as well. That man Beaks has got the love all tonight. You know we'll bring him in later. To the green flag, though, we go. It's back to the action. And the action never gets dull here at short track racing, especially with Bristol Motor Speedway on that loster. Whoa, for Sheldon Pearson though, may not be the same situation. Spent the off at corner number 4. Caution flag flies out, and we got a problem down there for the 8. And, well, I hate saying it, but I think we've now hit the minimum cautions that we had in the Cup race. Yeah, we can believe that. They had 130 laps, where they only had like 2 or 3 cautions at the entire race. Believe me, I'm still trying to figure it out myself how they did it. Well, let's take a look at the P2 replay, presented in part by Green Mountain Grills here today. Here's another look at what happened here. Looked like maybe just a bad restart here for the 8. You can see he got loose off that corner and just kind of gets himself in a bit of a rut, a bit of a nut, in a less of a groove there. Tire spun, couldn't get it to grab back on the track, and once those tires are spinning, that banking down there will just send you up towards and up to the bottom. It don't matter where you go, it's not going to be anywhere but straight. Unless you're talking straight down below, but then again, that's a different story. Well, I just said a minute ago, we will bring the man beast in. Well, let's get him in now. Here he is, the man beast, Million Man Jr. What's up, bud?
How's it going, man?
Well, right now you got Mama and Papa watching you on, and currently, we know when they're around, you gotta have a little bit of love with these guys.
You know, they usually beat me if I don't do well, so I better do good.
Well, you better not be getting beaten too bad out there. I mean, usually when you get beaten, it's usually how you beat me on the track, not the other way around.
Yeah, man. Open set at Bristol. We're just trying to make some laps to get at least halfway. See what kind of speed we got and see where we can fight for the front.
I gotta
little mistakes here and there made for speed.
I gotta ask you this, there, man beast. With the open setups here, how difficult is it versus a fixed setup to get this truck to kind of settle back down and get styled in for these long runs? Because last time you had to fight off from really a very long run on the Cup Series to now seemingly kind of a different story here with the trucks.
Well, this setup's a little bit loose, and after a while, you get worn into it, you get some laps. It starts to tighten up for you, but at the moment, we're kind of cruising with a lot of loose and no green flag laps. So good for fuel, good for tires, not good for trying to make some passes in the long run.
For sure there. I'll never less, man beast. We got Papa and you got Mama beast watching you on. Best of luck out here.
Appreciate it.
The man beast, ladies and gentlemen, here on Peaks Racing TV once more. Drivers getting ready to field him back down into position and get settled back in for the restart run. Thank you all for tuning on in here tonight. We appreciate you tuning in here. We certainly hope you've enjoyed our shows and our recent broadcasts. If you haven't already, like and follow us up here on Facebook and our YouTube to subscribe there for more great content. And of course, obviously, big thank you again to iRacing for the big shout out they gave us here not too long ago. It was certainly a Christmas present in its own right. Obviously, it was for these drivers here actually that had the battles in the Riley Challenge ovals. But I'll tell you one thing: in the Truck Series and Cup Series, they know how to put on a show too. Let's find out here as they get back to the restart zone. Don Starner coming on board saying Dan can't beat COVID, beat up on Bristol, Dad. Well, well, I'm pretty sure he meant to say he can beat COVID, he can beat Bristol. I think that's good enough for me. Speaking of beating up on some things, it looks like the man beast doesn't want to get his butt beaten tonight, because right now he knows Papa and Mama are watching on. He's got a run off on the 29. Garth Snyder, though, trying to hold him back. Snyder earlier on, very aggressive through the corners and made some great runs and passes here. He's doing the same here, but the caution will dial him off again. The 2 of Russ Kilgore stopped on the front straightaway. Russ, the full bore Kilgore, puts it into a dead heap stop here, unfortunately. Let's take a look at the P10 Mr. replay. That's Daniel Half in that 32 machine up top. We'll take a look here. Super clean F-150 and that Rod Baker Ford F-150. And looks like Russ just kind of drove a little off center there. Once again, you can just see how loose these trucks are. These open setups are completely dialed off and having some major implications here for these drivers to have to find a way around. And it's kind of hurting their opportunities and their chances to really make it work here. They're going to have to find a way to find a balance. They can't just keep driving them in hard and thinking it's going to stick all day. It just doesn't work that way. Speaking of working that way, let's go ahead and bring in our friend here in the number 48. George Young now joins us on the call line here. And George, good to hear from you again, bud. And obviously a bit of a kind of a rough patch where you have to start way in the back here to get a move on these guys.
Yeah, I struggle here finding the speed, but you know, I think I can take advantage of some of the aggressiveness that's going to go on here, and sooner or later, I think I'll be up, at least up in the mid pack there, and then we'll see if we can make some stuff happen.
For sure there. Now, I have to ask you real quick, how difficult is it as a driver to, you know, kind of come from the back pack to the mid pack to the front pack in the track like Bristol? Because this is obviously short track racing at its toughest.
Oh yeah, it's really difficult because you gotta, you know, balance between trying to pass guys, but then you gotta pay attention to what's going on ahead of you because, you know, something's always happening. You try not to get caught up in it. So yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless here, George, appreciate your time here, my friend. Let's see what NPR can bring to the table.
All right, thank you.
George Young right now representing for the mid-pack racing crew here as they're about to bring the drivers back out onto the track zone here. Josh Ball, the number 6 Winn-Dixie machine. He's one you gotta watch out for here. He's been known to make some runs on these guys. He looks to do it again. Back to the green flag. We're back off and running. Filing him down off of turns through and now down the back straightaway. Look out for Kevin Kershaw, the number 91 Champion Power Equipment. Crooks is now looking to pull. Some major runoffs here, some big battles here between, but right behind all of them, big wreck gliding right down the turn 1. Huge wreck, unfortunately, ensuing here. Dan the Man Starner involved in that one. Daniel Half got caught in there. Looks like Russ Kilgore as well. Kevin Ward. Some other drivers involved in that. Big wreck though ensuing here through turn number 1 and huge implications unfortunately. As the playoff racing obviously is going nearer and nearer. This one is not what these drivers wanted to see. Let's take a look at the replay. Looks like Triple Trey came to play Whitehead, had some company. As Dan Starner, looks like he might have drove up a little bit. It's hard to tell from that angle. From my end, it looked like he might have actually driven up slightly, but you can see Whitehead, he was lifting down too, so that's kind of a mixed bag there, if you will. That's kind of that one of those omens, if you will, the racing ordeals, we like to say. It's like nobody, it's really nobody's fault. It's just the racing gods kind of had it happen. And yeah, from that angle, it definitely looked like a little bit of our old friend, the Grutchgraphic Gremlin, decided to pop its rear ugly head in here and say, let me mess with these guys a little bit. That's definitely not, though, what Dan Starner wanted to see here. That's a tough break for him. He'll have to go to the end of the back here and have to work his way back around the track. So we'll see how well that holds up for him and how much that can do for him here. Let's take it down now and talk with here one of our other drivers here. I think you guys might have known him here. It's like some guy by the name of the Marauder, James Harris. I think that's his name. We'll see who he is here. How you doing, Marauder?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, not much, bud. So right now, currently, I know you've been telling me all day long, do not bring you in if you were up front. So I decided I'll bring you in while you're in the back of the pack.
That'll work. Yeah, we foobarred our qualifying run. We were busy talking to our teammates and not concentrating, and we wrecked on both laps. So started deep in the field, but hey, we've missed all the wrecks that have happened. They're already up almost to the top 10, and we got a long way to go. So yeah, we may pull something out of the same this year.
Now, with your setup tonight, what was the ideal look you were looking for? Did you try to go more towards a short run with a bit of a consistent middle run, or did you go full long run with a pretty strong middle run?
It's actually, believe it or not, pretty good on a short run and a long run, just really depending on how hard you run it. Our builder built it for that purpose because here at Bristol, you know, you can have caution after caution after caution. And out of random, you can have a long green flag run. So he kind of built it in there, you know, to just depend on how hard you run it. It'll last if you want it to. If you want it to run hard for a short run, you can do that as well. So if we get some racing in here, we'll find out for sure what we got.
Well, we're about to find out here in a bit here. So, Harris, appreciate your time, bud. We'll let you get back down to business and talk with the drivers.
All right, man. Thanks.
The Marauder, James Harris, ladies and gentlemen, have a little listen in there. You hear pretty much point blank his expressions there. Remember, he has locked himself into the playoffs with a little bit of help in those wins he had in previous times here. Looking to try to keep going with that strategy, keep going with the momentum, obviously, for all drivers here. Their main focus is to make the championship hunt, the playoffs picture. The cutoff line is coming up ever so closer, and these drivers are ever so slightly just getting put more and more into an unwinnable state. And a track like this really evens everything out and makes things even tougher for even the best drivers to win it out on. So let's find out who is giant and tough as they come. And as they come down around Alpha turn number 4 to the restart zone, we are back underway. Hard on the gas, hard on the momentum here. Everyone lining them back down to the back straightaway. They hit them up. Brock Whitehead and Yanny 2 right now at the moment trying to hold back Kevin Kershaw. He knows Kershaw's got a thing or two with that truck. He's been known to put some power under the hood here, and Jason Taylor losing a big time control here, trying to stop the truck, and he will get it, but a caution must fly, and unfortunately another cone life has been taken with it. This time it was not John Thacker, but unfortunately Jason Taylor could not get the truck to stop on a dime, couldn't get it to slow off. It's just extremely difficult to kind of keep everything in play and keep everything online. Those long runs are definitely going to come up eventually here, because I don't see these drivers doing all this kind of madness, this kind of crazy work without wanting to at least eventually get put into a good spot here. You can see, looks like the Blaster Master himself, the Mullen man, Robert Lawrence, ends up kind of slowing down a bit. The 15 Taylor ends up getting right into the rear end of him, sends this truck around. I'll tell you one thing though, you saw his little drift there. That's pretty impressive. Let's go on board here. Let's take a look at this one. Give credit where credit's due. He drifted that thing in pretty good. You would think though, Robert, the one getting loose, he did not. Taylor, he had that thing drifting perfectly, but he just could not get the truck to save it. Heck of a job though, really hanging in there and giving himself a good battle there for position. Well, I think it's only fitting right about now we go ahead and grab our old friend, the attacker of Cone Lives Matter, because one of his favorite things to do, folks, is if you kind of haven't figured it out, is take out cones. And if there's ever a great cone smasher around here, it's definitely this guy. So, Thacker, take it away, buddy.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Not much, man. Just usual stuff, and watching Taylor try to pull a drift contest while at the same time doing your usual job, which is take out cones for a living.
Yeah, that's what I do. But a heck of a race here, man. I didn't practice. I don't know if you could tell that with my performance here, but trying a little random setup, and it is loose in the middle of the turn, and exit of the turn.
Yeah, it definitely would seem like it. Well, we talked earlier with some of these guys. Some of them said they were feeling it a lot looser than others, and some of them were trying to get the truck to tighten up later half in the run. I mean, how was it for you right now when it came to getting to tighten it up a bit?
I'm sitting here now on looking at the old F7 menu for my next pit stop, and I think this might be stupid here, but I think I'm gonna drop the right rear and lift it up the lift rear. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens, but it's tough. I just got to get off the gas, and that isn't anything I can do. But I'm too stupid for that, so now I'm gonna have to tinker.
Fair enough. All right.
If anybody in the comments wants to, like, send you a message and have you PM me what to do to this in-car setup to tighten it up a little bit, I will probably listen.
Well, comment section, have at her. I mean, he's asking for help. What can you do to help him get that thing tightened up? We'll let you know.
PTM's favorite racer needs your help.
All right. Thank you, Thacker. We'll get back with you if we hear any news.
All right. See ya.
Oh, man. I guess that's something for you fans at home. If you know how to set a truck up, there you go. Help him out. If you ask me, I'd probably, if it was me, normally I would try to adjust brake bias and then the tires. I'd set the brake bias up a little bit so it tightens up the truck slightly. And then it would be, I would mess around with the right side, kind of add a little bit more pressure in there. I'll kind of stiffen up a bit and kind of keep it from getting too loose. More weight in the truck allows it to kind of naturally flow and actually give a little more stiffness. Doesn't necessarily make it faster, but it does tighten it up a bit. Back to the green flag we go, though. We are back underway. Eric Sadler also coming on board here tonight, rolling on for the for the Whitehead family. And speaking of the family right now, family of drivers in the middle. That's 3 wide salute. Steven Tyler Bless holding his line down from the 3 wide battle here between Snyder and Kashur. Meanwhile, back from the outhouse of the Graves here, Jonathan Diamond 39 trying to hammer off again, trying to get up there with the Thacker camp as well as the Pearson camp. Sheldon Person earlier on caught himself in a bit of a bad omen, a bit of a bad spot. Had to kind of wall it off and kind of let the truck kind of dial back in. He's been doing a great job of that and really setting this thing back for a run here. Field's starting to get a little bit temperamental on the control. They are saying point blank, we do not want to keep going under caution all day, boys. Can we get some racing in? We're getting some racing in now, that is for certain. Does Andy Fan Craig James at the Toyota Tundra right now trying to hold back on the number 1 of Nathan Meyer. Meyer keeping his DuPont rainbow scheme colors in good play and good use, and at least I'm going to keep making the joke because he won't leave me alone. At least he's got that manufacturer stamp right on that one. For those at home that don't know, he usually drives a Ford in the Cup Series and ran that same DuPont scheme. Now I'm not sacrilegious on certain drivers or anything like that, but I will say that running a Ford on a DuPont color scheme is not by any means the right thing to do, and nor is that anything I would recommend anyone out there without at least a little joke and ridicule. So I apologize to those that do, but I'm sorry, you don't mess with tradition on like that, and that's just something you don't do. You can say his numbers all you want. Paint schemes, no, don't do that. Anyway, speaking of paint schemes, I think someone's wanting to trade some paint looking for the win. It's Josh Ball, the number 6 Winn-Dixie F-150. He's piloting it up to the front here, looking for a piece of this Annie fam. Matt Stewart coming on board saying, keep up the good work, Chris. Oh, I appreciate it, Matt. Thanks, man. It's good to hear from you as well, bud. Hope you're doing all right here in these times, and hope you're ready for 2022. We still got a few things we have not unveiled here that we're ready to show you guys out there. Speaking of showing you some things here, apparently the one thing that the OnlyFans master himself, Robert Lawrence, likes to do is really show off all that hair and that luscious mullet flowing through the wind. He's piloting it all straight ahead, and Brock Whitehead trying to keep the hair away from him because he doesn't want none of it. Maybe looking to try to find a few pairs of zippers down there and kind of snip that hair off and snip his rear end any more than it already is, because right now he is currently right in the mix of a hot battle here with the top 5 drivers, and Richard Fornshell is very well aware that the Sure Flab 90 is going to have to do everything he can on the outside to hold back the power of the master himself. But the Blaster Master had a little bit of a tough corner trying to dive down inside to get around him. The outside is where these drivers are going to have to kind of play it off at for the moment. They can't get to the bottom and make a move off there. A lot of times here back in the old days, it was used to have to run that bottom lane. The outside line wasn't necessarily where you got the grip or got the momentum. It was the bottom lane that gave you the grip, and then of course, made for some awesome bump and runs and some racing days. Obviously, since the repays and the redos, though, that kind of had to change things up, and it ended up kind of adding a little more banking to where it set the outside up more as the preferred line to play. And now that's kind of what you're seeing these drivers have to work off and do in this track tonight. Hard charging tonight, the number 4 of the Marauder, James Harris, up 14 at the moment, 15 behind him, Triple Trey. As we go to caution again, Jacob Gibbons comes to a dead halt in the Plan B sales, number 20. Truck comes to a blown up motor here. Transmission might have stuck a little too much, unfortunately. Just about halfway done with this one. Let's take a look at the P10 minutes replay. And it looks like he actually got a little bit of troubles way before the initial wreck and contact here. Take a look at that now. Here you can see the damage on that trunnion machine. He's already had a bad day as it is. He was right there with Triple Trey. This is where he backs off a little bit. Couldn't quite get the momentum back in. You can see he's having to run on the bottom lane now. And looks like maybe a little close contact there with 6'9", didn't quite get him. Comes right off of turn number 4. This is where the trouble began, and you can see just that slight error in the glitch graphic gremlins once again attacking in full force. And Jacob Gibbons gets the full blunt of it here today. Tough break there for him, unfortunately. Obviously not what he wants to have happen, not what he wants to see at all. But as we say in racing, man, there's just some things you just cannot control. That is certainly one of them. We'll take it back down now and talk with 3 Wide Motorsports. Ladies and gentlemen, now joining me on the call list here is number 32 of Daniel Half. Daniel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Well, we're doing pretty good as well here tonight. We've haven't really been able to talk to you much this season. You've been kind of finding some bugs and finding some gremlins down there in these trucks. What's been going on as of late?
Actually, this one hasn't been too bad. Missed the last couple of weeks due to work purposes, but glad to be back on for this race. Car's a bit tight, but overall, I mean, pretty comfortable in the field. Just fighting the ability to pass. Everyone's running the high line. Can't really pass on the low line very well. But with everyone running up high, it's the only place that there's any space. But we'll find a way to get around everybody. Maybe use a little bit of strategy.
For sure. There now, I'm going to ask you this here. You're doing a little bit of a strategy yourself here because you're one of the only drivers staying on now, and I do know that Zanny Fan Ball and them are going to have fresher set of tires. Does that kind of worry you a little bit here on these restarts?
Not too bad. I know I'll probably get swallowed up a little bit here, but I did pit under the last caution for my tires, so I was already in the back of the field anyway. So a little bit of strategy. My tires aren't, from the beginning. They're only maybe about 10, 15 laps old that last green flag run. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I might lose a few spots, but I think overall it'll still be a net gain.
For sure there. Whenever that's best of luck here, Half. We'll see what happens here for your team. Best 3 Wide Motorsports, so definitely got a top contender up front.
Thanks so much.
Number 32, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Half coming on board here with us as we're about to get the drivers back into field play. Race fans, when we come back, it's time to get back to the action. Halfway done, halfway to go here at Bristol. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Green Mountain Grills. When you guys need the best wood-fired pellet grills on the market, there is only one branded name that we are trusting, and that is with the Green Mountain Grills brand. Be sure to check them out on their social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out their local listings as well on greenmountaingrills.com and find the next best set of grills for your next best outing. It's almost springtime here in a couple months, and even in the winter, you can always grill up some amazing stuff with Green Mountain Grills. Now then, my friends, you asked for more racing, you wish for more battling. Well, why now we give it to you? Here we come off of turn number 4. Time to get back to the action. Green flag back on out. It's time to get back to the racing. And Josh Ball pretty much had a gift present wrapped up for him. He gets a huge move off Taylor in Half. Half pretty much giving him all the room he needed. So did Taylor. Janzik well aware they're letting him get him by here. Gets a good drive off of turn number 4. And now it is a Sandy fan trying to master his way to the field. Watch out, though, for that 35. Here comes the Camping World Machine as Tyler Meeks puts his name in the hat. And speaking of putting his name in the hat, I think the Blaster Master may want to put on a hat because his mullet just got cut in 2. He got sent out of turn 2 and down to the back straightaway. He's able to refire and get stretched back out on the track here, but he lost a lot of time and ground here. That's not going to help us cause any. Robert Dudley coming on board saying, "What's up? It's good to hear from you, Dudleyville." William McDaniel, hey there all. Good to hear from you, men. Robert Gillard, great to hear from you as well, sir. We got a packed house here tonight here, not just in the stands here, but watching all around our states and our world here. Oh, no. We got a wreck. We got troubles. Troubles down here on the front straightaway. Everyone trying to come to a stop. And it looks like a little toe tap and a little love there for Kevin Couture and Trey Whitehead. But the main story looks to be that number 1 of Nathan Meyer. I couldn't tell from our angle what happened. I know I saw the 52 get loose, but I couldn't tell where everyone else got loose at. Let's take a look at the replay here. The PTM Mystery Straight tells all and shows all. Here's what happened. Oh, Josh Ball. You would not think he would have lost in that corner, but holy smokes, he didn't just lose it. He lost more than that. Truck comes to a dead spin and a bad time for him and his crew. He had taken the race lead over, and it looks like the track bit him. Oh, he was doing that way before we realized. Hold on a minute. Here's our look at it. This is your race leader, by the way. He was trying to get ahead here of that field because he knows Janzik's coming for him. And right here, this is a big mistake. This is not something you see the 6 usually do. You can see that truck's already getting loose off of turn 2. Watch as he comes off of 3 and 4, though. That truck is gone. He's trying to save it, and Jantic just barely gets tapped there and had nowhere to go. Meyer obviously got caught up in there. There you can see him already heading into reverse mode, trying to get out of the way of the drivers. Smart thinking there, obviously, by Ball to get out of the way. We'll take one more look at it from Tyler Meek's camera view here, because he was the only one really out of the front half that avoided the carnage. You can see right here, the truck's gone. Jantic goes bye-bye, and well, actually, I can't say Meeks got away with it. He did take some damage on the contact, so that may hurt him a little bit. I don't know how bad that will do him in, but unfortunately, that's going to slow drivers way down and a lot more off-center and off-pace than I think they realize. We'll take it down now and talk with some more 3Y Motorsports crew drivers. Here is the number 8 of Sheldon Pearson. And Pearson, bit of a wild day for you, and you somehow were able to really stay away and avoid some of that carnage there. What did you see on your end, man, when everything kind of stopped toward?
I gotta believe I'm running out of luck, man. I've dodged so many of these things coming from the back all the way to the front one time, and then I sped on pit road, so that just shot myself in the foot. Now I got to do it all over again. So hopefully the luck stays with me and I can get back up there.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel better, I mean, I've had my fair share of days where my luck has just been absolute 0 to 0, and then it could be 0 to hero. So, if anything, I think if you can figure it out, I think I can figure it out just the same way. But I know, Pearson, obviously, I know you've been wanting to try to get up to that top half and that top bracket and prove your worth here. What would you say you probably can do here in this last half? You think it's possible to get up there with these guys?
Man, I'm hoping I can just at least get into the top 12 and not lose any spots in the points. And get out of Bristol with, you know, top 12. That'd be great.
For sure there. Well, before you head off, I know you want to say thank you to somebody out there.
Yep, GMG and Champion Power Equipment. And thanks to you for broadcasting, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it there, Pearson. Best of luck on the restart.
All right, thanks, man.
We'll let him get back down, settle back in here. We'll have ourselves a new leader on the gun. Richard Fornshell and Jason Taylor will be your new leaders. Off the start, we go. You know, earlier on I said there was some folks that were rooting on for Brock Whitehead. Well, he's up in that upper half, the upper echelon. And speaking of upper fight here comes number 4, James Marauder Harris. Problems down there for Thacker, though. Has to slow down the pace here a little bit. Drivers, watch out, talk about. Woo! Oh my. That's the one thing I absolutely do not like about short tracks is when you have to slow down like that to avoid this, and now the Whiteheads are going to get caught in this one. Oh my, James Harris, someone just sent him to the upper room. He got sent up high and up to the fence there. Oh my goodness. And the Green Mountain Groves number 4, unfortunately, somehow still felt the wrath of my broadcaster curse. James, I swear I do not do this intentionally, man. I thought it worked last time. We ended up talking with him in the back half. Now, Bristol catches him here. Let's look at the replay. Oh no, it's the Bristol bump and run. And it goes to Triple Trey. James tried to refire it, try to get squared back away, and then look at this. Oh my. Up on a high banking there and just pretty much kind of got sent to the shadow realm. He had nothing he could do about it. Here's one more look at it. We're going to take a look from his camera view here. This is his left rear suspension. Watch the 33 as he comes right in with him. This is the old Bristol bump and run, as we call it. You run the bottom, you can't get him out of the way. There's only one way to get him out of your way. I don't think Trey meant to do that necessarily, but it did kind of happen, unfortunately, there. And then, well, let's say the camera went out for a second there on James. No, that wasn't us that did that, folks. That was the camera. So Triple Trey came to play at Whitehead. Unfortunately, he's going to have to go play back in the back out of the outhouse because he's been a naughty boy. The old short track tempers. This is going to be that'll be a fun day after this one, I'll say. Robert Gillard saying it didn't make it home in time, but I'll be back on track tomorrow. Gillard, we certainly cannot wait to hear from you, and I promise you, if I can, I will bring you in ASAP tomorrow. Take it down now, talk with some of our other guys here. Dakota Wilson But Southern Speed Motorsports joins us in here. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the 52 in Dakota. Been a while since we've heard and see from you, brother, but tonight you're pretty much hard charging this thing from the outhouse to get to the front. What is going on with this truck, and how are you able to do it?
Listen, I don't know how I've made it up here. I've just been bobbing and weaving through these cautions, and luckily I haven't been in any of them.
You haven't been in any of them, yet you still seem to kind of get a grip and get a grasp on the track here. Tell me, how hard is it really just to kind of stay away from some of these guys, much less trying to keep everything in one piece?
Well, I just I try to run my own race and just be responsible for the guy in front of me. I got a pretty good truck if we could ever get on a long run. I've got this thing set up towards a long run. So these little short stints is kind of hurting me.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, obviously the short runs may be coming to a swifter end here because we're coming up on 50 to go. So best of luck, though, in your team.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sergeant Speed Motorsports, ladies and gentlemen, the 52, Dakota Wilson on the line. We're ready to get fielded back down in position, race fans. Richard Fornshell will be your race leader with Jason Taylor on the inside zone. Fornshell has a victory already this season. Managed to pull that one off back a while back here on Pizza Racing TV. He told me earlier that he hasn't been there in a while. He'd love to change that. We'll see if he can do that here today. Lining them off through the corners here, off the restart zone, and down to the field we go. You can see the solid lineup of drivers here right now trying to just stay in clear and stay hard on the run. They don't want to get into a mix or a scruffle here. They just want to simply run their track or run their line. They know all too well how to do that, but can they get it dialed in here tonight? Here, look out for Janzik. Oh, here comes 3 wide saloon from the 40. And the Elite Performance Industry machine is now making the waves and making some heads turn here. Oh, but he's going to get caught in the middle of it. 3 wide in right in the ball. And Josh Ball's going to go for a ride there. Gets taken out by the Zanny fam. Whoa! And somebody tell the number 6, you are not a monster truck, sir. You're not supposed to run over everyone like they're just cars. He tried to drive that thing up so much, I thought he changed his paint scheme for a Gravedigger machine. What the? Did Kevin Harvick change his truck as well into the Gravedigger scheme or something? What is going on down here? Well, anyway, here's what happened on this one here. Janzik gets into the 6 here. There's, again, this is a 3 wide salute on Bristol Motor Speedway. Must we say more? You go into that turn, just there's no room for there. Ball just completely jumps on top of the 95, and I think he was trying to tell Scrum, hey, could you stay there for a minute? We'll see if I can drive over you. And obviously that does not bode well, but Ball right now having all sorts of bad luck here today. Ever since that little spin around he had, unfortunately, it pretty much kind of locked him off, kind of set him back quite a bit here. Now just hoping for some kind of break or some kind of help. We'll take it down and talk here with the number 35. Tyler Meeks joins me on the line now. And Meeks, at the moment here, you were hard charging up to the front, but then everything just kind of got caught off guard. You get into that little wreck there when Janzik and them get into it there.
Well, it didn't start out great when the guy leading decided to drift turns 3 and 4 and then come back up the track and destroy all of us. So now we're in the back, and now we're faster than these guys back here, so we're trying to rush to get back up front. So probably a little too aggressive, but 50 laps to go, we got to do what we can.
For sure there. I know obviously this is one of those hardest parts about trying to run short track, especially kind of this kind of track in general. But I have to ask you here, if you can really find openings and find areas to kind of play into, do you think the 3 wide salute is something you'll be looking into as well as what you saw your teammate Janzik do?
No, and we were on the team chat talking about trying to work together, but then somehow I get put 3 wide and we get collected in the wreck. So it is what it is. I don't know. We're all trying to get back up front from, you know, OSP was top 5 pretty much. 3 of us were in the top 5, so we got fast guys in the back just trying to make our way back up.
For sure there. Whenever last Meeks, do appreciate your time here, man. We'll see what happens here as the rest of this race continues on.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, you can hear it from his voice, folks. That is short track racing frustration at its finest, and Bristol has always been known to put a Bristol temper under your hood. I've had it happen before. I've been in his shoes. I know what it's like. I've been in the same predicament. Came off so many races, just next thing you know, the truck car was just spinning out too much, couldn't handle it. Had to use the wall as a safer barrier and kind of keep the truck or car online. Back in the day, I was running on the NASCAR Heat Force side, so I could actually use the wall as like a little wall banging style. But I'll tell you, man, it's extremely difficult to kind of hang tough and hang through this field, hang with these guys, because these drivers are just trying to constantly outdo and outplay each other. And this is obviously one of those circumstances you just got to kind of watch it from. So we'll see how it all goes down, but there are still plenty of room for guys to move up to the front. There's names you usually don't see up here now looking for a win. Speaking of wins here, this season it's been all over the place on wins. Wilcox, Janzik, Ball, Meyer, Fornshell, and James Harris, Trey Whitehead. They've all visited victory lane this season from start to finish. Ever since the Daytona opener, and we have not seen really anybody take this championship by the reins and by the horns. It's anybody's guess who will end up walking away with that one when time comes. But off a corner restart, we're back to the action. We'll pound our way through the field here. Fornshell with a great start. Gets a good jump out of the gate. Strategies are extremely key here and extremely hard to kind of figure out, especially when you're trying to go from a long run to a short run. Setups are going to be put to their test. Limits are going to be pushed to their beyond their measurements of your mentality versus your racing ability. It's all how you just maneuver around the track and how you hit around the corners. 3 wide slow yet again. Look out, Kersher having to back off to Russ Kilgore. And Trey Whitehead up offside yet again here. Meeks going to plow right in, and Meeks gets hit right back in the tank. Gets another piece there of Triple Trey. They'll line him off there, keep him straight, keep him in play. They are not done yet. They'll let him run more. And Meeks, once again, you heard him say earlier, he'll get aggressive, but he did not anticipate that at all. Trey Whitehead was able to escape and get ahead of the field just a little bit more so than not. Looks like he did indeed come to play here, but I guarantee you he's got a receipt coming from one driver out here. If he has to deal with him, he'll come for him. I think you may know who. He's coming quick. He's coming fast. George Young on the outside here. That's the Marauder. James Harris tries to muscle it back up. Just kind of push himself into the field. He said it earlier. He'll say it again. If he's got a receipt or two left that needs to be taken care of, he'll use it here on these short tracks. And that certainly can be the case here. Robert Lawrence here, a little loose coming off of turn 2. Lost a lot of ground there. The 5 getting a good put back in the outhouse. Fornshell and Starner now moving away on the outside. Starner getting a good jump here. As Garth Snyder for the first time tonight as the race lead. But behind him it's a hungry pack of drivers. But the caution's going to fly before we can find out more. Kevin Ward in the 112 here. The Grinch is going to be a bit of a Grinch here tonight at Bristol. He apparently didn't want to know who was going to take what from this position. He wanted to see later. Well, let's find out. Looks like it came around the corner here. It had a great burst of momentum. And, well, okay. Well, I mean no disrespect to anybody, but the Danny fan is kind of running a little bit of that Michigan stuff. He did not too long ago. You may remember that race. Janzik is a very aggressive driver, don't get me wrong, and he can certainly play a clean, hard race, but man, I know his frustration has got to be boiling over, but he's cutting him pretty close on these corners, man. He's definitely giving everything she's got, and it's definitely sticking, but at the same time, it is not giving him any breathing room. We will see later on what transpires there, but well, for now, we'll just keep talking with our drivers and head it back down to Shake and Bake Racing. Ladies and gentlemen, now joining me here is the number 39, John the Diamond. Diamond right now, top 10 implications and also playoffs. Something that's been weighing on your mind from the very start of the season, but boy, has it not been the most kind season to you when it comes to getting into that upper half in the upper echelon.
Yeah, I mean, first like 6 races, I think I had a average finish of like 19th. It's not been a fun season for me, but I've been just sticking to the high side. I haven't gotten any contacts or any damage this race, so I just hope I can finish it out like that.
You think maybe just kind of avoiding everyone and just kind of letting them do their own selves is going to help you keep up with the top 5, maybe even possibly more so?
Yeah, I think we're at the point where I don't think I want to pit and lose positions. So I think I might just risk it and stay out for the rest of the race and just gain position that way.
Well, we've always said it before, if you're going to win, you got to take risk. A bold strategy here by you, Diamond, but best of luck to you, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, there is a reason why, ladies and gentlemen, he is with Shake and Bake Racing. He'll shake it before you bake it around these parts. Field getting ready to stretch back down, race fans. When we come back, Jar Snyder, Brock Whitehead are going to do battle with a hungry list of drivers looking to take them down off their spot. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, also brought to you in part by our good friends at Green Mountain Grills. When you guys need the best wood-fired pellet grills on the market, there is only one branded name that we trust and we rely on. Our friends with Green Mountain Grills are always there for our needs and our service. Be sure to check them out on their social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out their local listings at greenmountaingrills.com. Find your next deal and find your latest product that you need for your latest outing and picnics these days from the winter to the spring. We'll get them settled back down now. Time for the drivers to recenter off and get ready for this one. This has been absolutely awe-inspiring, crazy racing. It's been short track racing. It's been Bristol Motor Speedway racing. You never know who's going to win around this place because, man, there's one thing about short tracks we love is that it's an equalizer, and it is certainly equalized these drivers tonight. But for Dakota Wilson, he has not visited Victory Lane today. Can he get it this season? Can he get it this time? He's got some work to do. He'll have to try to take down the young phenom in the 82. Brock Whitehead, call him what you will. He is, one thing's for sure, he's got a hard head and definitely got a lot of speed under that hood. He's right now managing to fight it out here with Garth Snyder as the 88 tries to put the Fox Racing Red Bull machine up ahead and stay in Victory Lane sights. This is your battle for the race lead. Oh no, we got trouble, major trouble right here. Trey Whitehead wrecking it down off of turn 4. And I'm not going to say anything, but I did see a number 4 behind him. I don't know if the receipt was finally given or not, but let's just visit the replay in a second. As you see, the 91 Chemical Shirt involved in that one. I have absolutely no idea what happened other than that was a wild little scenario there. Okay, so I can tell you from looking at the replay, it was not the 4, but the 14 didn't think otherwise, and looks like James was able to avoid it. Great driving on his end, and Whitehead might have actually got a little bit into a situation here with Starter. I don't remember Starter being that aggressive here in those kind of corners, but man, the bump and run can come from any driver and anywhere. Here's what happened. The Buffalo Springs barbecue machine just takes a full little kiss there in the front and in the rear. Starner just gave him the almighty push. Now, I'm not gonna lie, folks. I'm honestly trying to stay away from talking with the guys up front. I'm trying to talk with the folks in the back here, because it seems like my broadcaster curse has always been kind of getting attacking on the ends here for anyone that is in the top half. So we'll talk from the bottom half as we're wanting to do here, and we're gonna listen in with our Zany fan Craig Janzik. Now, Janzik, earlier on we were talking about this. You heard from your teammates. Extreme aggressive may be needed with as many laps you got left, and that's pretty much what we've seen here tonight. What's been going down for this team and this crew?
Yeah, that's for sure too. Extreme aggression is needed, but extreme aggression only works when not the entire field is being extremely aggressive too. So that's good that we have that going for us. We're in 18th with like 20 to go. So I don't know how many spots we can get here. I do have the freshest tires in the field, which is good. But what's bad is that, God, man, there's a lot of questionable stuff going on out here. And I really don't like any of it. So it's one that we're going to look forward to getting done with, and just focusing forward to Charlotte tomorrow for the Cup playoffs. That matters a hell of a lot more than this.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, James, we do appreciate your time here, man. We'll see what happens here later on, and we'll see what transpires here coming tomorrow night.
Yeah, brother, 10-4. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. We should have a great show, a pretty good mile and a half to put on the show for us. So let's all look forward to that instead. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Oh, maybe later. Who knows? We need luck for later.
All right. Well, that's why I talked to you in the back, because apparently it seems like I talk in the back, someone makes it up to the front. So there you go.
Well, thank you for that, and I'd really like that to be true.
Well, ask that to the Marauder. You seem to have him still on your fixture there, so best of luck, man.
10-4, bud. Thanks.
Oh, man. There's any fan great, Janzik. You can hear once again him and Meek's frustration factor is just right there. That's how Bristol tempers gets you. John Bounty saying, how's the race going? Well, to be honest, it's a Bristol race. Take that for what you will. I do love the comment section though, and I love hearing you guys talking with us here and kind of coming away with us on Pizza Race TV. So thank you again for doing that. So if you haven't already as well, and you're new to the channel, hit us up and like and follow us up here on Facebook. To our subscribers here, head over to YouTube, subscribe there. Exclusive broadcasting content will be there when we go live. We'll notify you on our Twitter and Instagram handles when that comes by. As we're ready to get back to the action though, off of Restart Zone, back to the action. Garth Snyder looking to play spoiler here tonight, and Gwyn only his third race in entire season. He hasn't done it in a while. He'd love to do it again. Brock Whitehead still searching for career win number 2, trying to prove he's not a one-hit wonder, but he's got a lot of company behind him coming for him. Dakota Wilson trying to sneak his way on the inside, been making moves left and right all day for this restart zone. And the 5 of Robert Lawrence is not too far off from that angle either. The Mullen man has been blasting away and hammering down, and don't also count out. We got one man in the backfield. His name is the Marauder. James Harris is coming up fast and coming up hard. Oh, Snyder goes in there, coming up a turn 4. Oh, he's going to get to the 4th spot hotter. The Marauder gets a piece of it there off a turn on the front straightaway. Oh, my. Snyder gets sent to the shadow realm, and unfortunately, it looks like Harris gets a piece of it too. And just like that, everything goes topsy turmoil and changes on a complete 180 dime. Here's what happened. Look at this. There it is. The bump and run of Bristol. It comes back to haunt him. Snyder gets it, and it takes Marauder James Harris with him. But unfortunately for Whitehead, Lawrence was paying very, very close attention to that. Managed to steal that one from him and take back the lead, but the caution flag flies out and maybe the most inopportunistic of times. It's the 51 of Charles Whitehead, and I'm not gonna lie, I really thought we were not gonna have to call up Charles Paul Tracy Whitehead tonight. But unfortunately, he is gonna be ended up in this pack here. Let's see what happened here. Another look at it here, came off of turn number 4. And you can see right there, just drove her aggression, just drove it a little too hard off that exit. The interstate barrier 51, spins it. Now I guess I really can't call him the Paul Tracy of Green Mountain Grill's Fast and Fun Truck Series tonight, because really he didn't get in contact with anyone, although he did have a situation where he spun, so does that count? I don't know, I'll let you guys decide on that one, but man, what a tough break for the guys that are fighting so hard. They were giving it everything they had and then some to get into this top half, to get into that battle zone, and then this stuff happens. Man, it's just been a wild day, and now we talk with the 20 of Jacob Givens to kind of explain that wild day. Givens, this really has been pretty traumatic as well for you and your team, but you still are out here fighting. You're still trying at least. I'll commend you for that and your crew, but what's going on down here? Because it seems like the truck can either be hot and cold, or it's just completely all over the place. What's going on, man?
I mean, we was going forward pretty good earlier, and then I pinched Clegg and got myself in a wreck, and then went 2 laps down. I was able to get back on the lead lap. I feel pretty good about the truck. It's fast when we can get some racing in, but can't ever get enough laps in here to get going yet.
Do you think a lot of that's just due to the over-aggression and really the drivers just getting a little too impatient for their own good?
Oh yeah, and it's really loose for some reason, and it's snappy loose, like you just go in the corner, and just spins out.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Givens, we do appreciate your time here, man. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that pure aggression and racing that you are known for come tomorrow night at Charlotte.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Jacob Givens, ladies and gentlemen, the number 20. And like I said, he can race and win out there. I've had the pleasure of facing off with him. He can definitely put up a good fight and a good show. He's got a win to his name. It's just not televised on PT Race TV, but he certainly can get it done. I will say that. He's beaten me out a few times on the track, which I'll admit up front is not too hard to do depending on what you run. But hey, I gotta at least plug some of my stuff out there. I do race too, folks. I don't just broadcast like everybody thinks I do, although I've been very well known to broadcast every single day, and it seems like I don't ever have time for myself. Believe me, I have time for myself, and I do race, so don't worry. I do know what these drivers are dealing with. Well, speaking of knowing what to deal with, I really don't know what I would do in this spot here, because Dakota Wilson is in the catbird spot here, and he's got a guy like Brock Whitehead also kind of hunting him back in, trying to fight up a little shot, and don't count out at 22 is Steve Clegg. He has not had the best season today. He has not had the best series, to say the least, in either of his categories or divisions. But there is one thing Stephen Clegg can do. It's win. He's been known to put up some tremendous races and some tremendous battles here, and he can certainly get it done in this case. Will he have the opportunity to do it? We are about to find out. Off of corner number 4. Drivers lining back up for the restart zone. The Mullet Man sends it away. Off to the restart we go. Time is running out, and it's starting to become a very, very bleak scenario for some of these drivers here. Back on the restart zone, you can see drivers trying to make moves left and right, trying to find openings where they can, trying to go 3 wide if they have to, and unfortunately they're not going to get time here. Russ Ilgort, Evan Shergar, Snyder, Am Scrum all crashing off at turn 4. And Miss Nikki Coker coming on board, and great to have you there. We're on for Kevin in that 91, but unfortunately, Miss Nikki, I think Kevin Krasher has kind of found the old demons of Bristol, because the short track Grudge Graphic Gremlins have once again attacked on the worst time of the night. Here's what happened to the number 2, Russ Kilgore. Look, just again, this is the problem right now they're struggling with. They're trying to not overdrive these trucks, and they're trying to keep themselves somewhat under control. But the pure aggression, it's just way too much for their own good. It's just way too hard for what they're trying to get and what they're trying to bring to the table. And I think at this point, they know that that's the case, and they're just trying to avoid it. But at the same time, as a driver, you don't think that. You don't think that way unless you truly get put into a spot or someone just flat out says, man, you just got to stop, or we'll give you a reason to stop. And right here, you can see Kilgore just got too hard in the throttle, catches the apron, and let me tell you something. When you catch that apron, don't matter if you're on iRacing or you're on other ends of if you're on other services, that apron is not friendly, and it will get you loose. You're pretty much going from a banking to a flat surface. Your truck has no grip and no runoff, and it's just going to send you for a ride, and that's all you can do at that point. What a tough break here. What a just absolute crazy race here for these guys. Unfortunately, this is not going to be a race they're going to remember all too well for the right reasons. Nicky Coker saying not his night. It really ain't. I mean, Kevin can get the job done. I'll tell you that much. He's a tremendous driver. I've raced him before. He can put up a fight, and he can certainly race with the best of them. And he has beaten the best of them before. Remember, he's got 2 All-Star race wins to his name. And also, he's got some Daytona victories to his name as well. He can put on a show as much as he can race with the drivers. So, it's just sad that unfortunately he can't really get out of this mess, out of this slump. The same reason a lot of these drivers are kind of facing, which is just pure aggression and maybe just driving more with that foot than with their brain. And it's one thing you have to really take hard. It's really kind of hard to really keep under control and keep under contact with broadcasting as with racing. It's just kind of having to kind of blur the lines between, you know, drivers in reality versus what you're really seeing on the track. And I'll tell you one thing, it does upset me. It gets me a little bit it gets me frustrated, gets me mad and upset as much as probably these drivers are feeling, because I know what they're experiencing. That emotions, they can transfer over. It may not seem like it, but I'm just a little bit upset that we go from a very great racing that we saw in the Cup Series back just a couple of weeks ago, and now we come into this race, and unfortunately, I know it's Bristol Motor Speedway. It's fun to watch and it's fun to call, but at the same time, as a driver, my instincts are just completely going all over the place, because it's infuriating as it is, just hard to really keep under cool and under pressure. I guess you could say the Bristol temper is getting the better of me tonight. But judging by you fans out there, you all seem to love it. So, oh, by the way, Sean Bounty, thank you for coming on board, man. It's got holiday stuff going on, so thanks for checking in, though, my friend. So here we go. Well, at this point, 6 laps left, one more caution, we're going to green-white checker territory. Which one of these drivers wants it more, and which one can at least hang on for just a little longer off of the restart zone? The Bullet Man thinks he's got it figured out. Off of corner number 2 here, Brock Whitehead now managing the power bases move around. He's looking for a little bit of fire back here. The Black Sheep Firearms looking to catch the Mullet Man. Robert Lawrence is not out of the woods yet. Caution's going to fly, though. We got more problems. Jason Taylor on the 15. Remington is spinning off of turn 1. Wow, big wreck. Stephen Fless also caught up in there. Driver is completely bashed in. Daniel Half, the 32, major damage on his end here, and unfortunately, now drivers are just going to have to regroup and reset. Here's a look at the replay. And looks like they look pretty clear here, pretty clean. And once again, it looks like just the glitch graphic gremlins decided to rear their ugly head. They used their invisible forces to make the 15 move up top side and get into their the 8 of Sheldon Pearson, and Pearson just had nowhere to go. Well, right now, we're going to have ourselves a green-white checkered scenario popping up here, and they got a couple of them here, so we'll see if they're able to make it work. But here's how we look right now. Lawrence, Whitehead, Wilson, Clegg, Meeks round out your top 5. And then Pearson, Mann Jr., Janzik, Meyer, and Fornshell will be our top 10 field. And at this point, we've seen the leaders wreck. We've seen guys get a good jump on the field, and all of a sudden, about a second ahead of the field, they unfortunately get loose. Then we've seen the big pileups. We've seen the madness all day. It's really hard to even think who's going to even come away with this one. I am, like I said, though, folks, I'm just stunned how wild this one has gone from start to finish. It has been chaotic. It has been crazy. But we are not finished yet. We are needing to finish this race out. All televised here, all live right now. There are no gimmies here. Somebody will walk away with a W. But which one will it be? Ryan Sizemore saying, let's get it, Brock. Ryan wants to see his boy get his second win for Brock Whitehead. This isn't more than just a win. This is literally his life goal, his mission to prove he's not a one-hit wonder. Remember, he's only got one win. And back at Texas Motor Speedway in that Truck Series division, he's looking to show he can get it done on the short tracks too. He got a win on the 1.5 mile, but this is where, really, in my opinion, only the best of drivers can get to be crowned on the top of the leaderboards, on the top of the rosters. Short track racing is by far, in my opinion, the absolute toughest to win, no matter who you are and where you come from, because of one reason. There is no playing field bigger. There are no gimmies. It is all equal grounding. It doesn't matter if you're the fastest driver on the track. It doesn't matter if you're the slowest driver. Everyone is on equal footing, because at the end of the day, You can get put in lap traffic. You can get put into the wall but just by a simple mishap at the corner. Or you can go with what's happened tonight, which is the extreme aggression these drivers have been facing all day long. Now we're going to fire them off. Green, white, checkered attempt number 1 coming up. Can Brock Whitehead somehow find a way to knock down the Mullet Man, OnlyFans, Blaster Master, call him what you will. He's looking to become only one thing, and that's winner at Bristol. Which one's it going to be? To the restart zone, we're off and running. Lawrence got a great start. Whitehead's going to have to try to hunt him down. Meeks is moving through the field as well, trying to make some last-minute moves here. Steve Blake trying to hold him back. This is the white flag coming out. Presented by Green Mountain Grills now to the checkered zone. We're coming. White flag is up in the air. Wilson into the wall protection, trying to hammer it off. Gets it back down through the four corners. And Brock Whitehead will not have enough time. The Mullet Man, Robert Lawrence, wins at Bristol Motor Speedway. Oh my, and a huge pile up here off of turn 2. Oh my goodness. Huge pile up here in turn number 2. All the drivers, I think, maybe just had enough of this one. Maybe their frustrations coming out in their own little way. But for the Mullet Man, Robert Lawrence, he keeps it somewhat clean as a whistle, and it keeps it, for the most part, in one check, in one piece. And he will indeed do it. The Mullet Man will walk away with the victory. And he has been struggling all season long just to get to this point, to the pinnacle. I've always said that he was probably playing a little bit of Ghost in his radio station, because he always goes from the pinnacle to the pit. Tonight, it's the opposite. He stays at the top of the mountain in the Green Mountain Grills machine tonight. The Blaster Master will take home the victory for the Truck Series here in Bristol Motor Speedway, and pretty much all but cementing a chance in the playoff contention. We're going to go and talk with our finishers here tonight, and I got a feeling there's going to be a lot to talk about. Here's our winner, though. Here are the Mullet Man, Robert Lawrence, with the victory. Second going to Brock Whitehead. Third to Steve Clegg. Fourth will go to Tyler Meeks. Fifth to Dakota Wilson. Sixth to Greg Janzik. Seventh to Sheldon Pearson. Eighth to William Mann Jr. Ninth to Richard Fornshell. And Nathan Meyer coming away with a solid top 10, to finish his night out. What a race and what a day it has been, race fans. Let's take it down. It's time to talk with the field. That was certainly a race and a half there, but let's hear it from our boys. Let's let them do the talking, because at this point there's not much else I can really say. Here he is now, race fans. Stephen Clegg now joining me in here. He is your top 3 finisher here tonight. And Clegg, you've had a rough season like we talked about earlier, but now it looks like the racing gods finally blessed you with the top 3, sir.
Yeah, I got lucky tonight. I didn't have the fastest truck, but able to keep it clean, stayed out of the wrecks, and once I got the track position, I wasn't going to give it up. I mean, I came in for tires one time, and that was it. I wasn't going back to pit unless I got wrecked.
For sure there. No, obviously this was definitely a bit of a hard race for you to kind of take through and kind of figure out from start to finish, but you still, on the end of it all, you had a great battle defending off for that hunt in the top 3. You had a lot of players at you, including Wilson and Meeks. How'd you hold them off there in those final corners?
Yeah, those restarts were stressful, to say the least. Just get on that top line and hope it sticks, and guy on the bottom line doesn't come up into you, really. And yeah, where you started mattered most, because if I was on the bottom, I was going to lose 2 or 3 spots. Got lucky, got on the top lane there, and was able to hold on to 3rd.
Indeed you did, sir. Well, nevertheless, though, obviously this was a solid night for you and your team, and at last you get to talk in the top 3, so I have to ask you, sir, who do you want to thank you for that?
Thank Green Mountain Grills, Kevin over at Blackstone, and James and Eli, all the guys that put this on. It's a fun league. And yeah, all my teammates.
Well,
Good time.
Clay coming away here for third place here with the Shake and Bake Racing League season, or like, excuse me, team. Congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Steve Clegg in the 22 here pops away with that one, and Brock Whitehead a solid second place finish. Now, Brock, I know you're not the race winner. I did not know you were going to try and pull an Alan Kowicki on us though with a second place finish like that.
Yeah, I'm just happy I got second at Bristol and a 0x. I never thought it could be done, but yeah, I'm celebrating because I'm just super excited about getting the 0x and finishing second finally at one of my worst tracks. I'm slowly getting better at it.
Well, I'll give you that, man. In that case, that's certainly something to be proud of and be really fond of. Congratulations on that, my man. But what a day it has been. We talked about it earlier. We were talking about it here on the track. It seemed like, if anything, you guys were trying to go for broke and you were going for it all. But I mean, what was the biggest thing you were looking for here? Because I know you just could not get that last minute runs. It looked like the Mullet Man just kind of caught you on those starts.
Yeah, we only had to take one set of tires because of the all the cautions. I think I just burned him up a little too early, and Robbie saved him pretty good. So, but yeah, he was really fast tonight. I know me and him raced around each other quite a bit, and then I feel bad for Garth. I bumped him going into the turn, didn't mean to, but I'll probably apologize to him. But yeah, congrats to Robbie, and he was very fast tonight.
He certainly was indeed. But nevertheless, you were pretty fast as well. I know you're still searching for that second win here of your career, but nevertheless, an extremely solid performance at Bristol. Who do you want to thank for that?
Yeah, I think Black Sheep Firearms for the sponsor on the truck. I'd like to thank you for broadcasting, all the sponsors sponsoring the league, Kevin, James, Eli, and all the admins that run it. Even though it was very hectic tonight, they did a pretty good job of controlling it.
For sure there. Whenever us Spock, appreciate coming on board here tonight, man. Congratulations on a second place finish, and we will see you in due time, sir.
Thank you.
Brock Whitehead himself coming away here. A solid performance for him and his crew. But now, race fans, there is only one driver left to talk with. We haven't even talked to them all day. Maybe it was a good thing because now he joins us in victory lane. The Blaster Master only fans. It is the Mullet Man, Robert Lawrence. And Robert, I know you've been waiting a long time for me to say that whole line and that whole dig here because you were looking for victory lane for the longest time. Here you are, though, bud.
Yeah, I finally got that darn monkey off my back.
Yeah, you told me earlier today going to this race, you said if I could just somehow escape with some kind of top 3, top 5 finish, I'd be happy with that considering how my truck season's been. But now, I mean, that completely just changed here. You just finally figured out how to win here on this track.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bristol's been my better tracks. Cup Series, I screwed up and I overdrove it, but this I know the truck's a little bit better, and I had one heck of a setup thanks to Dustin Hall over at EPI, and I can't thank them enough. But yeah, I finally Bristol's been really good to me. I understand the track, and finally I got the race put together well enough that I won the darn thing.
You certainly did indeed, and man, I know this was a long, long road for you and your crew, but what a day it has been and what a season really this was leading up to this moment. I know you got a lot of people to thank finally for this one, so who do you want to thank to start them off?
Well, first of all, I think Green Mountain Grills champion. I mean, our big sponsors, can't thank them enough. We got to thank Blaster and AC. Those guys are the contributors, and also I got to thank EPI as well. They were one of the biggest helps to me. Dustin Hall, he was one of the best crew chiefs out there, and I got to thank River Valley Radon as well. My buddy Dustin Barwald, he's probably in the chat, just happy and I'll get out. And yeah, I just got to thank you guys as well for unfortunately dealing with the wreck fest tonight, but hopefully it's somewhat entertaining for y'all.
You guys can go back and watch the broadcast. You can judge for yourself, so. That's my rule of thumb. I'm not saying nothing. Y'all just go watch the broadcast and enjoy it from there. So, Robert, appreciate coming on board here, man. Thank you for your time, and what a victory to chance to finally see you get the victory here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I can't thank even my teammates. We were all top 5 most of the night, and they were all great helps. I can't thank them enough as well.
For sure there. Robert, you're the winner tonight. We'll see you next time out, buddy.
Yep, thank you.
The Mullet Man, ladies and gentlemen, Robert, the Blast on Master, OnlyFans, call him what you will. He is your race winner at Bristol. And once again, fans, that's going to wrap up another race here. But a big thank you again to Green Mountain Grills for all your support. The fans out there, I cannot thank you guys enough for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a lot of folks tuned in with us here tonight to watch this race, and we certainly cannot thank you all for that support and that love. If you do stay around, come by for tomorrow because the Fast and Fun Champion Power Equipment Cup Series is going to be put to a whole nother level at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But until then, from all of us here at PT Race TV, thank you for choosing us to be your provider here tonight for some hard racing and some fun moments. We certainly hope you've enjoyed. We will see you tomorrow night at Charlotte Motor Speedway.